Change. It's inevitable. Whether it's my daily routine, the people I know, or the places I've lived, everything changes. Life could change slowly or in the blink of an eye, and everything anyone has ever possessed could be gone within a day. No one ever knows, and all one can do is prepare themselves for that change, and just go along with it. Life could seem just about perfect, and one could have everything that he or she could ever want. Then it all changes, and there's nothing but a carload of belongings, and no place to call home. There's nothing that can be done about it but make the best of it and start over. Change can seem like the worst thing that one could ever have to deal with, but in the end it's the best thing that could have happened. My whole life changed when Hurricane Katrina ripped my home apart and left me and my family homeless and bewildered. It changed our home, our life, and our perspective on life. My family had thought we were in paradise, and that we had just about everything. We had just moved to Mississippi a year before, which was what I'd thought was the best thing that could have ever happened. I had hated it where we had lived before, but I loved it in Mississippi. This place was beautiful, the weather was ideal, and it always smelled fresh and clean. But most of all, I loved the beach, and our little house not far away. The neighborhood was nice and peaceful, and we were not but 5 houses from the beach. If I looked down my road, I could see the Gulf. It was an awesome thing to see, and a short walk down my street took me right to the beach. The walk down there itself was calming. The big oak trees that lined both sides of the road shaded me the whole walk until I got to the end. Then all I had to do was run across the road that ran along the whole Mississippi Gulf Coast, and I was there. On a bright, cloudless day, I could see the barrier islands out on the horizon, and if it was an exceptionally clear day, I could make out the palm trees on the shoreline. The beach, the wonderful beach. It was by far my most favorite place to go, and it was the most calming place I could go. But everything eventually changes. All of this changed, and not necessarily for the better. The last time I laid eyes on this wonderful place, it looked nothing like what I had ever seen. To even get to see it, we had to sneak past the cops who were posted at the railroad crossings. We weren't the only ones who had bypassed the cops. There were numerous other people rummaging through the debris for lost belongings in order to get where our house had been. We had to climb over a huge pile of rubble that had been everyone's houses. It was a block or two in width and stretched the whole coast. There was bits and pieces of everyone's houses, and the contents from inside littered all over the place. Past the huge pile that was everyone's houses was pretty much nothing. All that there was left were foundations and random photographs, clothing, and other personal items scattered everywhere. Almost everything man-made was gone. Most all the trees were still there, though. Their branches were stripped of their leaves, and their trunks were gouged where the debris had been hurled at them. I could not even tell what was ours or our neighbors'. It looked immensely different. It no longer felt like home. It was like I was in a different country, and the beautiful beach that I had loved so much had its sand blown up onto the road and was littered with what was not sucked back into the Gulf after the storm surge, and what had been washed back up. At that point in time, I felt truly homeless. That is how I remember my favorite place in the world. I know it has changed since then, but until I see it again, I'll remember it as the desolate wasteland that it was right after the storm. As I said, though, things change. If it had not had happened, then I would not have ended up in Kentucky with a lot of friends in a new house. Hurricane Katrina, in the disguise of this horrible monstrosity, has forced an inevitable change upon my family and countless others, and in the end has turned out for the better for me.